This is my town! If you live to see the dawn, it's because I allow it. I decide who lives or who dies.
In a town called Redemption, death is a way of life. Some fight for money. Some fight for glory. But one stranger has come here, looking for something else. She can play their game.
Want to play poker with me, little lady?
Looks like you're having a pretty good time playing with yourself.
She can beat their odds.
Did you ever kill anyone?
Sure.
I don't think you have.
But there's one thing she can't do.
Why are you really here? You're no gunfighter.
Forget the past. TriStar Pictures presents Sharon Stone,
I'm gonna kill you if I have to ride all the way to hell to do it.
Gene Hackman,
There's nothing on this earth that frightens me now. Nothing.
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Hey, Muppet.
in a film by Sam Raimi, The Quick and the Dead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Geekfest Rants. Today we have another film commentary. The movie we are tackling today is Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead. Not a very popular movie when you think of all the Raimi films, but an important one nonetheless. Joining me today is Steve Ivona. Say hi, Steve.
Hey, Carlos.
And Steve Laux. Hi, Laux.
Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
Alrighty. As usual, when we do these commentaries, you guys need to know where to sync up the movie. So I'm right now at the menu of the film, and I'm about to hit the play menu command. And play movie. I'll give you two more visual cues. We're starting off with the FBI warning as usual. And stand by for the warning from the Interpol that will come and cease all of my illegal copies.
Big Brother is always with us.
Of course. And now we have to TriStar opening slate with the horse coming towards you with the wings, yada, yada, yada. And there's the horse. Wings are spread open. And
Hey,
next and final cue is TriStar Picture Presents. And here we go. So, guys, what do you know about this film?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We bandied about a few Raimi titles.
Yes, we did.
And trying to figure out what we were going to talk about today. And this was a surprising entry. But what's interesting about this film, and it's part of the reason why I thought it would be a good entry for our commentaries, is that you have a lot going on in this film.
Definitely.
They didn't have a lot of box office, but there's a lot going on in this film.
Absolutely.
You have some established people in the Hollywood community starring in this film. You also have some old timers.
Yeah, a lot of
who
B
have
actors
been
in it.
Absolutely.
in a ton of movies. You have some new up and comers whom we're going to meet in a few moments, and you also have a major transitional moment for Sam Raimi in his career, making that transition from B-movie schlock horror maestro to an established A-list filmmaker.
Right.
Now, what came before this? Was it Army of Darkness?
Army of
Army of
Darkness,
Darkness,
yes.
yeah.
And actually, Sharon Stone, the film was bought by Sony TriStar, and Sharon Stone came on board as a co-producer. There's Tobin Bell from the
Bell.
Saw series.
That's right. You can tell that's how they sweeten the pot for her, as they give her
a
producer
producer
credit
credit.
to
Yep.
get her
Exactly.
on
Exactly.
board.
So she came on board. There you go.
That's a Raimi shot.
A Raimi POV shot, which we'll see more of those later, and we'll go a little more in depth as well.
But he's a little bit more subtle in this film. He starts to kind of dial it down.
He does, yes. And Sharon Stone actually was the one who not only suggested, but demanded that Sam Raimi direct this film. And it was based on her experience with watching Army of Darkness, funny enough.
Oh, my God, wow.
Who knew? Sharon
knew?
Stone was a fan of,
she
of
propelled
B-movies.
she propelled his career forward.
She did.
Even though this movie wasn't a hit, it definitely was a step in that direction of him, as Steve pointed out, becoming a respected filmmaker.
Now, he is trying to balance two things here. He's doing the classic Western genre and the Sam Raimi song and dance,
Right.
Correct.
which is a balancing act for him.
The Western as a genre, it really kind of died out in the early 70s, and especially when Blazing Saddles came along and just lampooned the whole genre.
Put it to rest.
Put it to rest. But over the years, there have been several quality Westerns. The one that comes to mind that predates this one for me is Unforgiven.
Mm-hmm.
And
Silverado.
Silverado was probably the first one.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Pale Rider.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't seem to catch hold.
Alan Silvestri did
Predator.
the music.
There's a lot of sweets
Big genre guy.
in this soundtrack that sound like Predator.
Huh.
Absolutely.
The Town of Redemption. There are a lot of biblical overtones in this particular film.
It's funny because
namely the title. The
while
Quick
I
and
was
the Dead.
watching this film, I kept thinking, are they going to turn her into some kind of ghost kind of character, like the Pale Rider type of character,
Well, I think I saw certain
avenging angel type of thing?
I saw certain similarities to Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name in this character, kind of a female version. As we said before off mic, well, as Carlos said, I tend to agree. I don't think Sharon Stone fits the role.
You know what? One of the biggest problems is that, number one, she's too good looking. She does not fit. Now, granted, this isn't a straight Western, and you're supposed to say, all right, fine, this is kooky, weird,
Raimi.
Right, but she just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Well, I mean, they do try to de-glam her, but
You can't. She's
yeah,
gorgeous.
she's still Sharon
at least
Stone.
at this year.
Woody Strode.
The late Woody Strode. This was actually his final film.
Final
before he passed away. Woody Strode from Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Wow.
And a ton of other
And a
films.
ton of films.
Yeah.
One
Holy smoke.
film that he was in, John Ford directed, called Sergeant Rutledge, which was big for its time because it gave an African American actor a starring role in a early '60s production. But Strode has been in Once Upon a Time in the West and many classics.
I keep
That's Kevin
thinking-
Conway.
Wow, I keep thinking if it wasn't Sharon Stone, if it was a, let's say a male actor.
Would you have
from
preferred
the
a male
time,
actor?
It would have looked almost exactly like a Western. But to me, she sticks out too much. Now, I don't know if at the time there was any female actress that
Could have
as
pulled it
opposed to a
off.
male actress.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
that wouldn't stick out so much. I couldn't tell you.
I don't
at
know.
that time.
Who would you have put in it? Andy
Well, what year is
McDowell
this?
or,
What year is this? 90?
It was
1995?
released in 1995.
95. So you'd have to think about who was in
Who was
coming back then.
Right.
Yeah, somebody a little more rugged. She's just like a model dressed up as Clint Eastwood.
Pat Hingle, another character actor
Being in everything.
who was also Commissioner Gordon in the Batman series, the Tim Burton Batman series, and a veteran of many Westerns.
Well, what was interesting is, we just saw the credit written by Simon Moore. Simon Moore wrote the script for this film, and Sony TriStar was not pleased with it. They wanted something that was a little more traditional Western, so they commissioned John Sayles to come in and do rewrites.
Wow.
And what happened was his rewrite clocked in at about 2.5 hours. So the studio said, we have to do something about this. It's just way too long. So they brought Simon Moore back in. And essentially, without them knowing it, he removed all of the Sayles content. So they were left with his original draft of the script. But, with the layers that are involved in Hollywood, I could see how that might occur.
Oh, Carlos, get ready.
Oh, that's my boy. At his prime.
And in his prime. Well,
Yeah.
maybe kind of towards the end of his prime.
Yeah. Lance Henriksen, a big genre guy. Close Encounters, Millennium, just about everything.
Aliens.
Oh,
Come on,
yeah, that's
say
right.
it.
Bishop.
I'm being modest. I'm sorry. I don't want to say it.
Terminator. Near Dark. You ever heard of that movie, Carlos?
Oh, I forgot that was my favorite vampire film.
Might have heard of it.
Sorry.
He's quite the dandy in this film.
He sure is. But he gets his comeuppance.
He does. I love Lance Henriksen.
Well, another interesting tidbit about the writer, Moore, he wrote the Traffic series for the BBC.
Oh.
That was later turned into the film Traffic by Steven Soderbergh.
Right. An excellent film.
Mm-hmm. So we're in the town of Redemption, and one of the lead characters' name is Herod. Again, the biblical thread continues.
And it's supposed to be a completely lawless town, from what I remember.
Herod is
He is the law.
He is
but
the
he's
law,
a
absolutely.
criminal, yeah.
Rules with an iron fist.
Also,
You just don't see... This film has such a great ensemble.
Right.
You're just never going to see all these actors
Now,
again
the question
in this
is,
film.
it's taking her this long to return or to be ready to come back to this town?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, she's supposed to be somebody, I guess, in her late 30s,
30s,
early
maybe.
40s, who's lived their entire life preparing to
Preparing
come
for
back
this
to
moment.
this.
Yeah.
It's a little leaves a little blank area there.
Mm-hmm.
You would figure this would be more like a teenager who's ready to draw, on somebody.
well, and you had mentioned before about, we talked about the spaghetti westerns, and Moore admitted that this was essentially an homage to Sergio Leone,
Yeah.
and it's specifically the Man with No Name trilogy. That's a character called Scars, giving himself another scar.
Now, is he a known actor, or because he doesn't?
I
look
don't
familiar
think
to
so.
me.
He doesn't... I'm not
Just
sure.
a tough guy looking guy.
Well, what's interesting is his look.
He looks like a Raimi caricature.
He looks like a Raimi caricature, and for those who are not as familiar with Sam Raimi, he is a huge fan of the Three Stooges, and this character Scars was an homage to Curly, one of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Albeit a very messed up looking Curly with one eye.
He always he'll credit people as Shemps,
Right.
and I've never quite gotten that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at a certain point, I mean, it bears mentioning that Raimi's pal Bruce Campbell, who we all know and love, had a brief cameo in this film that was cut.
That's what I kept remembering. Where the hell's Bruce?
And this film has never been granted a special edition.
No.
So there's never been any deleted footage
Right, there's
shown.
no supplementals on
No
this.
supplementals, no commentary.
So this is it. This is the only commentary.
This is exactly. We're doing the
we
world
know
a
of.
favor.
Pretty sad.
But he's credited in the film as the wedding
Shemp. Yes, there was a wedding scene
Right.
where Keith David, one of our favorites.
And this scene is important because at the time we don't know it, but they're paying him
The town is
The
paying
town is
Keith
paying him
David
to be the guy who's coming in, but we don't know that.
an
yet.
assassin.
Right.
But I believe the wedding scene. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
This
when
I
we
found
meet some more
interesting. That
characters.
thing right there in front of her, it's called a mate, which my dad drinks out of that. It's like a dried-eyed pumpkin or gourd, and you put like tea inside, and then with the straw you strain and drink the tea. And it's something that I'm not sure why they put it
That's
here.
interesting. I
But
thought
it's
it was
a
an
South-
inkwell.
It's a South
Yeah, me too.
American thing. I don't understand why they're bringing it in here.
Thanks for that fun fact, Carlos.
What is
As
it
a matter
called?
of fact, I can pass it around later if you guys want. It's called mate,
Mate.
That was a photograph of her dad, who was
Right.
played by Gary Sinise.
which is you could call it a cameo.
A
in this
thankless
film.
cameo.
But
I
back
can't
then,
believe
I
he
don't think
did it.
was that big.
Well, he had just done Forrest Gump.
Oh,
Right.
well, that's huge.
He
Yeah.
was Lieutenant Dan.
I take
you
it
know,
back.
and I maybe I don't know how the shooting schedules overlapped. I think Forrest Gump came out in '94. I just was surprised. I mean, his role is so minimal.
Shooting on this started in '93, I believe.
Okay. Now this is the Day of the Dead festival.
I guess they're emphasizing the fact that they're very close to Mexico. Mm-hmm. Where's
Yeah.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Well, the film was supposed to be shot in Mexico. Oh, there's Robert Blossom, another classic character actor. They were originally going to shoot the film in Mexico, but as part of his deal, in order to get Gene Hackman aboard, they wound up shooting in Arizona at Old Tucson Studios, which I've actually been to.
Why? Because
Oh, wow.
he demanded that?
He wanted to be closer to the States. Yeah. That was part of his deal.
This make me sound like a creepy stalker, but Gene Hackman lives in New Mexico, so maybe that had something to do with
Probably.
it. You know,
Wow, how do you know that?
trying to get his autograph.
Leonardo
there we
DiCaprio?
go. Yeah,
Leonardo
Leo.
DiCaprio.
Not the big star that... I
No.
believe before this he had What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Gilbert Grape.
Yes.
So he wasn't a mega star yet.
Well, he was so unknown, according to the studio, that Sharon Stone actually had to pay his salary out of her own pocket.
Wow.
They would not pay for him. They gave her such a hard time. So as the producer, she said, "All right, well, I'm going to cover
I guess she
his
was a
costs."
fan.
Yeah.
I think was the film This Boy's Life with Robert De Niro.
De Niro.
that
yeah.
he did prior to this, and Growing Pains.
That's right. I also heard that apparently Sam Rockwell auditioned for the Leo role of the kid.
Wow.
Must have been young back then.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been interesting.
Sven Ole Thorsen,
The Running Man, right?
the
And,
Running Man.
Yeah.
and
Big,
Red
great
Heat.
Red Heat, great friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian.
What's
we
amazing about Lance Henriksen is that for like the last 30 years, he's looked exactly the same.
Actually, he's really starting to look his age now.
He's doing it
The,
now.
the last film I saw him in, he looked pretty bad.
Wow. Because all through the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
it's the same guy.
And look how baby-faced he is.
And look at how
Wow.
skinny he is.
His voice sounds kind of a
A
little bit.
little high,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Keith David.
Who I always
I don't
confuse
know
with
if I don't
David
know
Keith.
I don't know if you could if he counts as part of the Carpenter stable. He was just in They Live. Was there any other Carpenter film?
The Thing.
The Thing.
Right,
All right, so he
right.
counts.
That's
He's
right.
in
He
the
does
stable.
count, yes.
He's in the stable.
So this is I guess everybody's signing up for a gunfight to win some money
Contest,
ponied up
yeah.
by Wells Fargo.
DiCaprio's character is very, very cocky. Very,
Sure of himself. Yeah.
Like he owns the place practically. Which is kind of creepy that he's hitting on her, and they're kind of flirting a little, and he just looks way too young for her to be flirting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has a big chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Always trying to prove himself to someone else in the town.
Someone else.
Now, what was
we'll
her?
see soon.
What did she come off of? Anybody remember before this?
Oh yeah,
Was this
she
the specialist?
I
or,
think no. Actually, maybe the specialist or Sliver.
Oh yeah, she was in that in between period.
She had done Basic Instinct, which skyrocketed her.
But then
and then she had a
couple of duds.
couple of duds. And actually, I mean, Sharon Stone really hasn't done
now,
much.
what is that thing they're drinking? That black thing under the glass? Anybody know? Like
I don't know.
Is that some kind of tequila-ish looking thing?
No. Cue wind.
One of my favorite actors.
There you go, slow mo. You hear the spurs,
Nice entrance.
and I guess that triggers her memory of what her
What
past
he
is
did.
all about.
Right. She knows who she's there for.
Now, Hackman, correct me if I'm wrong, is not a big Western guy except in the 90s when he started, I guess, Unforgiven,
Unforgiven.
and films like that, where
Well-
all of a sudden he kind of looked really good in the Western.
This film, kind of, I think he's playing a cartoonier version of Little Bill from
Yeah,
Unforgiven.
I would agree.
It's a little bit more over the top
Mm-hmm.
than he was in Unforgiven, but I love him in this film.
He gives the film legitimacy.
He does
Mm-hmm.
gravitas.
He is the straight character. He's not a
He's not a-
caricature
he's
like
not a
some of these-
buffoon.
right? Not like the rest of these contestants. They're all, you know. And he has his own little gang with him, ready to shoot anybody who tries.
I know I keep bringing it up, but I just marvel at all the people who were in this film,
Yeah.
from the A list to the B list, and here we go.
talk about an unknown.
One of the heavyweights now, but at the time.
Now, is one of those thugs the guy from Newhart? One of the Laryl twins?
Larry, Darryl, and Daryl?
Yeah.
I can't say with
I think
surety.
that's one of them.
Russell
Now-
Crowe
Crowe.
coming off of, I believe, Virtuosity.
Oh,
Denzel Washington.
Wow. He like an up and comer. He wasn't.
I mean, he had
nobody
done.
back
He
then.
had done the big thing he had done in Australia. Romper Stomper was
Right.
the one that brought him to notice here.
Right.
But I believe. I mean, I know he did Virtuosity before this film. I know he hadn't quite hit. This is before L.A. Confidential.
Oh yeah.
But he was certainly getting noticed at this time.
It's funny because he looks like himself.
Yeah.
He's not a young kid. He's a
No, he was
he's
an older,
He's a
you know,
working actor.
not like DiCaprio. I miss Hackman. He, for all intents and purposes, he retired, and he hasn't done a film in almost 10 years.
There was a Raimi shot right there.
Yeah, absolutely, total Raimi.
The quick zoom in
Mm-hmm.
to the individual.
Herod has a real chubby for Russell Crowe's character.
It sure does. He's not buying the preacher bit.
No.
Sharon Stone's practically having a seizure. She's overacting in her reacting.
Mm-hmm.
You would figure that if anybody saw her reacting that way, they would just shoot her on the spot because they would know that she's up to something.
She's up to something. She's there for a reason. I mean, her heart is on her sleeve, obviously. She's just so worked up.
Although it was still one of his earlier films, Russell Crowe still brought the Crowe attitude
Oh, yeah.
to this one. You know, and there's something to be said for taking a role very seriously and getting into it, but I find it interesting.
Well, in this film, you have two actors, in Crowe and DiCaprio, who really, really get into their characters
Yes.
for a film.
And after this film, they all skyrocketed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, DiCaprio, Titanic is 2 years away. Crowe has L.A. Confidential, also 2 years away, and then Gladiator in 2000.
Right. These are, I mean, this is what comprises of somebody's resume. It's
Yeah.
these little roles, the little films that
I
that
have
get them the next film.
I have to say, though, you know, even though we've pointed out that Sharon Stone, and we believe, is somewhat miscast, Raimi, for my money, is a master at casting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more so, I mean, I find that more with the Spider-Man films. I think he's really genius with who he's, you know, cast in those iconic roles.
But just imagine, you have all these people who are either, you know, still relatively young in the business or established actors. How do they take Raimi? You have this guy who shows up on the set wearing a tie. I mean, he is
Very
notorious
respectful.
very respectful, referring to people as sir and ma'am. But the images that he comes up with are just completely off the wall.
Plus, you at this point, his resume is Evil Dead.
It's Evil
Yes,
Dead,
essentially.
and Dark Man.
1, 2,
Yeah.
Army of Darkness, Dark Man, Crime Wave.
That's about it.
That's
Yeah.
the extent of it.
And it kind of amazes me that he came to the notice of. I mean, Army of Darkness was a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
It was a complete bomb. It got good reviews, but no one went to see it.
Here we're getting bits and pieces of her memory of what happened to her, and through the
As a
movie, we'll
child.
get a little bit at a time. We don't get it all in
Right.
one shot. It builds towards the end, and obviously something happened to her father probably when she was young, and then wakes up. Now, this is the closest you're going to get to a money shot in this film.
Oh, you're gonna see some.
No, I think this was it. This was the best you're going to get.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say, you know, in a couple of seconds.
There you go, right there.
No.
No?
There's more.
No, when she sits up.
Yeah, but you don't. This is PG. PG-13, maybe.
Well,
Say-
there you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
oh, I looked down for a
I
second.
believe that's referred to as a nip slip. Technically, if you look at any textbooks.
Thank you for pointing that out, Carlos.
Thank you
Sounds
very
like
much. Well,
you've
this is
typed that
visual.
search term in
This
Google
podcast is
more
not
than
visual.
once.
We have to kind of guide our audience through what we're seeing.
Will your wife be listening to this commentary, Carlos?
I'm just reporting on what I'm seeing. You can't
Factual.
Don't kill the messenger.
Okay.
And she's sitting on dynamite, and I guess we're not going to get a second one because
Mm-hmm.
that probably costs more money.
Some foreshadowing
They
there
would have
with
to
the
make her
dynamite.
executive
Yes.
producer if they show a second one.
Yes. Come on, she's a good sport. Take one for the team.
Look at what you did in Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
Now, are we?
So right there, we hear that
Father.
Herod is
Is
his
his father.
father.
Now, are we
quote
supposed to
unquote.
believe these two spend the night together?
No, they didn't. They didn't. She in the exchange, she makes reference to him. Last thing she remember, him throwing up in the alley or something.
But
to that
because
effect.
he's moving around like he just
Yeah.
won the lottery.
No, they didn't.
Russell Crowe is spending the nights now next to the fountain outside.
Not getting any water.
This is pretty much how old Tucson Studios looked. They probably didn't have to do much manipulating of the town.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that could be done for real. If you could actually light a match in someone's face.
Now, this was when you say old Tucson Studio, Steve. Was this a? Did they have sound stages and?
No,
Or
it's,
was it just
it's-
a town?
It's an old west town. Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
the early westerns were shot there, and it actually, I think it might have burned down at one point, or it was just in such a state of disrepair. And when I went, it was many years ago. They had just reopened it,
Okay.
and they've been using it for a while. I think it's probably not too far from Tombstone.
Okay. Now she's trying to project cool, but it's just not working for me. I don't think her performance is bad.
No,
I think it's just somewhat lacking.
Well, it's kind of weird in terms of why is she trying to befriend this guy? Does she feel sorry for him? Does she know that he's the guy who really had something to do with what happened to her father?
no,
It doesn't make
No,
sense.
I don't
Why,
think
I
so.
think
why
that
is
was
she-
before his time.
Why is she trying to make a
Maybe
connection?
it's just kindred spirits. I
Look at that. Okay, that shot right there.
That's
The focus shot. You
yes.
get both focuses.
the way
Not
they
like
do
Star
that.
Trek.
Not like Star Trek, which looks like somebody put Vaseline on the lens.
No, well, that's another Raimiism.
Yep.
It's they shoot with a diopter. Basically, it allows you to stack multiple lenses on top of each other. So, whereas typically the background or the foreground would be out of
Out of
focus, you
focus.
can
Yeah.
bring both planes into focus simultaneously.
Uses it very sparingly. Doesn't go crazy with it.
Nope, just for emphasis. He knows something's up.
Yeah.
Once again, she's reacting to the fact that she's there. And again, what the hell is in that glass? Some like
Yeah,
black piece of
I didn't realize
something.
that, Carlos, until you pointed it out.
Maybe it's some kind of tea or some kind of something that gets diluted or something.
Tobin Bell.
It's Saw.
Now, his character's name is Dog Kelly. The backstory that I believe was cut from the film is that he had at some point resorted to eating his dog, and Sharon Stone's character continuously tormented him about that.
So there are some rules to this game
Yeah.
that the random times.
For now,
For now,
until Herod wants
to
to
change things.
mix things up.
I can't stand chalk on a board.
Oh, that was a good one. Focusable.
Again, a Raimi transition where you zoom into something and then you come out of it and it's like it's a wipe, really.
Right.
But it's a hidden wipe.
Right.
Lance Henriksen's character is all about the cards. That's
Yep.
his staple.
His signature.
Showing off for the crowd.
Another Raimi shot.
There you go, the close up. That's a Raimi.
You know, it's interesting. We knew who Sam Raimi was before we walked into this scenario when we saw this film. Anticipating Spider-Man when it was released, I was kind of torn as far as how is he going to accomplish this without falling into his way?
Too much Raimi.
Or how is he going to be able to inject what is a very specific directorial style into a very mainstream film?
Mm-hmm.
And
Not only mainstream, but he has to create a look that is not
Based
necessarily
on the comic.
his.
Right, based on a comic.
He can't.
Yeah.
His personality cannot overshadow the comic book.
Absolutely. And I think what he ended up doing, not so far away from what he's doing here, is you saw flourishes now and again of that style, but he really, I think, pulled back on it. Like I think of when I think of the Spider-Man films, and I think of his specific style,
little signatures.
Like in Spider-Man 2, when Dr. Octopus's arms came to life and killed all the doctors in the room. That was a total Raimi scene. But even, and I don't recall the films as well because I haven't seen them in so long, but in films like The Gift, I really don't think he didn't go crazy on his.
He didn't.
Even For Love of the Game, which is a straight kind of romantic melodrama, I think anybody could have directed that film. I don't think there's anything specific to him in that film.
What about Simple Plan?
Don't remember it as well.
Well, what's interesting is, he has the connection to the Coen brothers.
Oh, right.
And
That's right.
they've worked on films before, co-written screenplays before, and I know that he did consult with them because they had made Fargo. And if you watch, knowing that, watching A Simple Plan again, you can sense that Fargo
connection
aspect. Yeah, very quiet moments of desolation and just really bad stuff happening.
So we're moving down to the first showdown between the kid and what's the Swedish guy?
Sven-Ole Thorsen.
Very confident.
She looks very familiar.
Again, you see him in focus and the background's in focus. A little bit of that too. Now, this film, I believe,
Yeah,
is
here we
not-
go with some Raimi shots.
Zooms.
Yeah,
Here
a
we
lot
go.
of crooked
Quick zoom.
angles.
That zoom lens.
Yep.
Crooked angles.
I don't think this film is letterboxed properly.
No?
I think it's a little short. I think we're missing just a little tiny bit.
Isn't it like a 185?
Yeah, it's a 185.
There you go. More shots, more close-ups. It's the traditional Western close-up of the eyes, but a la Raimi.
A la Raimi,
With
yes.
the zoom, yeah, it takes you right into Evil Dead.
It's like the end of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly when he doesn't
Yeah.
use the zoom.
No,
It's
he
a
goes to the shot,
go
to the close-up.
Yeah, right. You'll have a medium shot, close up, long shot, but there's no in-camera movement.
Right, but he likes to give you the crooked
He likes to
zoom in.
He brings you right in there.
In this case, they're establishing that the rules are you don't have to kill the opponent if they give up.
If they
or
give
they're
up,
wounded.
right. She still has that pensive look on her face.
Right, and they're building up because this will get progressively worse and worse in terms of the brutality of these showdowns. The kid is embracing the horrors, basically.
Well, getting back to that, the wedding Shemp and Bruce Campbell's scene that was cut out, it was the wedding of the kid and that saloon girl right there, or prostitute, whatever she might be.
Okay.
So
They-
they're
they do
technically
get
supposed
married.
to
They
be
do get married.
Yes.
Well, they will
he's-
get married,
and
yeah.
he's one of the attendants at the wedding.
Which I guess is why he's so upset later. What she's so upset later
Yes.
makes more sense.
And I believe Campbell was made up to be unrecognizable in the scene.
There's no way we can pick him up.
There's no shot of him left in the
Elsewhere,
film because
no.
that was the only scene in the film he was in.
He was there for a day. Mm-hmm. I think he was he working on something else?
Well, this is 1995. I'm not sure what else, where it falls in his career. I think he had already done Briscoe County, and then he did some really horrible shows like Jack of All Trades and things like that that Raimi produced, and they were syndicated shows. And I don't know exactly where this falls in Campbell's.
Again, they're establishing more of the contestants, the Indian, which they're making him more outrageous than normal. Every character has to be outrageous. There's a certain specialty to each of them.
Right.
And once again, the way these people stare at each other, I find it hard to believe that anybody would let her kind of like mind her own business, because she is so obviously up to something.
Right. She has an
and
ulterior
even Gene
motive.
Hackman looks at her and it's like, he must suspect something.
Right.
Why doesn't he just kill her?
This montage is very Raimi.
Yes.
Yeah, with the black background.
That might as well be a chainsaw fight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Give me back my hand. Did we see this together in the theater?
I don't think so. It was definitely at our height, but I don't think we did.
It's a very weird way of doing it, because it kind of takes you out of reality to have everybody behind a black background like this. I mean, I know it's supposed to be very dreamy, kind of like a hallucination type of look, but it does take you out. It's like, okay, now you're in Raimi land. You're not in Western world anymore.
Maybe we could just mention a little bit of what attracts us to Raimi. All of us are agreed that he's one of our favorite directors. What is it? What is it specifically that appeals to us about him?
Well, I think for me, it's a combination of his visual style and the comedic elements.
Yes.
Because the scenarios sometimes are completely ridiculous.
Right.
And, for me, I just love to watch his films to see where's the camera going to go.
Right.
And is it going to make me laugh?
Is it going to make me laugh?
I mean, I remember seeing Evil Dead 2 for the first time. I didn't see it in the theater, but one of my friends had recommended it to me, and I rented it. And it was a Friday night. I was, home alone, popped the movie in.
Right.
And I was laugh out loud. I mean, it was crazy. I could not believe that somebody actually financed this film. And it was so great.
Right.
Well, it's a juxtapositioning of the genres. In other words, you normally don't get like really heavy horror
comedy.
with comedy.
Right.
No.
It's not a black comedy. It's horror
Horror
and comedy. And when those things kind of go, butt end against each other, you get a weird reaction.
Yeah.
Which is something that I don't know if I could say he invented, but he definitely, put it out there for people to see.
Right.
And it's his signature.
I know that I saw Evil Dead 2 before I saw... No, I'm sorry. I saw Evil Dead on the recommendation of a friend who loved horror films and, kind of recognized these up-and-comers. And Evil Dead did absolutely nothing for me. It went completely over my head. And then I saw Evil Dead 2, and that hooked me. The visual style,
It's
the horror
also
comedy,
the
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. The visual style. Now, granted, I'm not a comic book person, but to me, it screams out comic
does.
book.
It does.
The
It
crooked
does.
angles.
Yeah.
The colors.
Even though you don't see movement like that on a comic book, the way you get to the angle,
Yes.
it's a very comic bookish,
Yeah.
thing you're being hit with.
Well, each frame is very deliberate.
Yes.
You're meant to bring your eye towards something.
Right.
That he's trying to
He's
communicate
moving the
to you.
camera. His camera is not stationary.
Now, I like the scene where they're showing them all the different guns and they tell them about the history of, well, this was really great, and this was okay,
And then you see
but
the
it's
one he
better.
gets.
And then,
And you see he starts getting the Jones with his hands. He's got to get his hands on one of these.
Yep.
now, it's hard to believe that whatever he's telling him about the guns, it's true.
Right.
It's hard to believe that these guns would have that history and they would be in this shop, in this particular place. I think he's just full of crap. He's just a salesman.
Right. He's slick.
Yeah.
Now, it's never really established, but, did Herod establish the kid in this shop? Did he allow him to open this shop? I'm assuming he put up the money for him to, to run this place.
Even though he kind of hates his father.
Even though he hates his guts. They have absolutely no regard for each other, although the kid wants his father's respect.
Now,
there's no affection.
All the gunplay we just saw, again, it's a little too much. Like, this is a guy who doesn't want to deal with guns and doesn't want to deal with violence anymore.
No, but he does. See, that's the thing.
And all of a sudden,
it's like the alcoholic.
Like, I have it. I still have it.
A Jack in his hand, and you
like
start
Steve
getting
said,
shakes.
he's got the Jones.
Yeah, he doesn't forget that. That's part of who he is. He's
tried to
fighting
get past
very
it.
hard.
Yeah,
and he did all those tricks. They had they
taught him how to do it.
Yeah, and apparently Gene Hackman got very good with the gunplay because he doesn't really have that much screen time, so he had a lot of time to really practice.
This is really cool. The fact that he gives him only one bullet.
Yeah,
right.
Only need one.
It'll make more sense later.
But it's foreshadowing.
But
yes.
It's kind of like, oh, okay, fine. Now, what's interesting also is the fact that the entire film, Russell Crowe, his face is completely dirty. He's never clean.
Well, he's going to get a lot dirtier.
Well, after what this kid is doing. It's called is that called a cow pie? Is that what that's called? In that case, a horse pie.
Okay, so here you see people are throwing stuff at Russell Crowe. The word on the street is that whenever there's an opportunity for somebody to throw things at the actors, that Sam Raimi is the one who is actually doing the throwing. Oh. Bruce Campbell.
Even if it's coming from different directions?
Well, for instance, in the wrestling scene in Spider-Man, when they're throwing popcorn at Peter Parker, it's Sam Raimi apparently is throwing the popcorn at him. He just loves to abuse actors.
He certainly loves to abuse Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell specifically.
Okay, he's having his showdown with a who cares kind of character. I don't even remember who he is. The guy with the kids, I guess.
I can't speak to Raimi's mind when it came to cast this film. I'm really, I mentioned before, I'm assuming he had a hand in the casting, except for Sharon Stone. But he could have, if I were him, I would have made Bruce Campbell one of the gunmen.
Why not?
In a second.
Well, because I guess he had him in mind for that other role, and then he cut it out. I mean,
or he was committed to something else. Because I know
it would have been nice to kill
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell was originally Raimi's first choice for Darkman, but he was overruled by the studio, who wanted a more established actor.
Wow.
Even though Liam Neeson was not as established.
Yeah, he wasn't that big back then.
He had done a couple of films, but there was no way they were letting him cast Bruce Campbell as Darkman.
They're definitely playing up this showdown bigger than the last one because it's obviously one of the main characters involved. And the beer is about to fall, and that will signal the chance to draw right at 12. And let's see who got hit. Oh, he at least got the draw, but did he hit him? He got him.
The trick when you're making a Western and you're staging a duel, I mean, it's over in a second, so you have to build the suspense. You have to, whatever, you have your visual flourishes. Or what. Sergio Leone used to use music, and he would draw it out and draw it out and draw it out. It's very, I mean, you want to make something that lasts barely a second and generates suspense. And
you don't want to copy, and you don't want to copy the classics.
Right. No, I wouldn't. I think Raimi brings his style to he's not aping Leone. Oh, I love his gunfights. I love Leone's gunfights.
Once again, Sharon Stone is talking to Russell Crowe's character, and
they
you're trying to
dig each other,
establish that connection. Why is she so interested in them? And Hackman is right over their shoulder, listening to them, realizing that they're getting friendly.
Apparently, there was a love scene between the two of them that got cut.
Well,
Crowe and Stone?
Yeah.
As and I should have mentioned this before we started the commentary, I saw, when preparing for this film, I was watching the international Blu-ray cut. I saw that scene.
It's in there, right?
It's in there.
I haven't seen it, but I heard that.
And it's also on YouTube. And there is a love scene between
When do
them.
they have a chance?
I'll try to place it in the context of the film. I don't believe it's going to be in the copy that we're watching.
Because
but-
I think he spends most of his time chained to that fountain.
No, she sort of rescues him. It's towards the end of the film.
Okay.
But it was in all the international versions, but it was not in the domestic version. It's not very, very explicit, but it's an important scene. This guy is a real sleaze.
Future mayor, probably.
Kevin Conway was in a very, I don't know if you'd say popular, but he was in a film called The Lathe of Heaven, which was a science fiction film made for PBS.
Really?
And in 1980, I believe. I've seen it. He's a great character actor. He's done a lot of television, plays a lot of cops. But The Lathe of Heaven is really his claim to fame.
Huh.
It's kind of a cult classic.
Again, she's confronting this creepy guy, and he kind of backs off because of her attitude, and I cannot buy that. She's just not. I mean,
Threatening?
If this was a Clint Eastwood film, somebody would either, and I hate to say this, kill her or rape her right on the spot.
But you
it's
have
a
to
western.
but you have to keep in mind she's the only woman in this competition. So these guys,
They think she's a
they're already
badass?
on edge because why would she even volunteer to, to compete with us unless she can shoot?
I love Lance Henriksen's voice. That gravelly voice. I do.
And it gets gravelier every year.
Yes.
I wonder if that's his real long hair or if they're sort of
I
extensions
don't know
or
if they're
something.
extensions or not.
He's almost like a Wild Bill Hickok type of
Yep,
character. A showman. Hackman looks like he's always looked. Again, and I don't know why it is, but to me, he doesn't age. He looks the same.
Well, there was a period of about 20 years. He just looked the same. And he's great with the gunplay.
Ooh, shut off his finger.
This is great.
He's calling him on every little thing he's
Every
been bragging about.
story he's told.
Extreme close up of a match.
Oh, well, now we got
nice.
to see the wound on his
Yeah.
hand. Another Raimi staple. Now this is more Bruce Campbell type of suffering.
Yes.
As we said before, each shootout is going to get a little more graphic and cruel.
There you go.
And whoa, that's a flip. Yeah, he doesn't just care about wounding them. He wants to just kill them.
I think I prefer Hackman when he's playing a villain. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor.
This
but
is a gladiator. Maybe Russell Crowe ripped this off. Oh, you're not entertained.
And everybody's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're good. We love
great
you.
Job. Nice hat.
Oh, the guy in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, and then to add insult to injury, they're gonna pillage poor Ace.
Yes. And it's kind of cartoony how they do. I mean, they strip him bare.
Down to his white socks.
First thing to go is the boots. Now, who wants to walk around with boots with aces on them and cards all over the vest?
Well,
and stuff?
he's a dandy. He's a fancy lad.
You're one of those fancy
I
lads.
hate them fancy lads.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm so horrified by this."
Yeah, it's a little much after a while. The angst.
There we go. Raimi shot. Mm-hmm. Crooked. And we get another peek at her
Her
background.
flashback.
somebody taking her away or pulling her out while a whole bunch of horses come in.
And the scary guy from Home Alone holds the little girl.
And there's the guy
That's
from CSI
right.
New York.
I was trying to figure out where he was from.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He was also in Christine. He's the guy who sells the car. No shitter ever came between me and Christine. Or him and Christine, somebody's brother.
So
Yep.
Gene Hackman's character was responsible for whatever happened to her
Right.
early
But
in life.
It gets a lot worse.
Hey, there we go, but not quite.
Hi-oh.
Another chance at some
Denied.
skin, but again, PG-13 or PG. So, but
You live for these moments,
you
Carlos.
know, but that's her claim to fame. You know,
Well,
how do
yeah.
how do you follow up the basic instinct shot?
You don't. You
That's
just
the
don't.
problem. You know you.
She.
I hate to
Yeah.
say the term blow your load, but she kind of blew her load on Basic Instinct. Yeah, we try to keep this PG-13, but
The success of Basic Instinct gave her the juice to,
For another 10 years.
Well, not even. I don't think 10 years. Maybe 5 years. Maybe 5 years on the A-list.
yeah,
I mean, she did do Casino, which probably
that bumped her up a
bumped
little.
her up a
Gave
little
her a bump.
after that. But she was really. I mean, now she's doing guest spots on Law and Order. She's done. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard Basic
Now,
Instinct 2 was the
I
worst
haven't
movie
seen
ever.
her lately, but has she hit the wall yet?
She's hanging on, but I'm sure the makeup is extensive.
It's the lady's turn to have her showdown
Yep.
against
Against Tobin Bell, against Jigsaw.
against the guy from Saw.
And The Firm, right? Did he play the albino in The Firm?
Yes.
I almost expect him to be rolling with a little tricycle. around there.
Not to get onto too much of a tangent, but have you boys seen the Saw films? Do you have any opinion of them?
I saw the first one.
The first one's great.
Is that the one with Carrie Always?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it's a franchise. Then it turns into
I
everything else.
didn't see any of the other ones.
Right.
I thought it was an interesting idea.
It definitely got played out.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
They turned it into a franchise.
Well,
so they
and
milked
it
to
kind of
death.
and it kind of started the torture porn subgenre.
Yeah, yeah. After that came Hostel and all those other
All
films.
those other films.
Here
But
we go again.
but I have to say, Tobin Bell, he's the one that makes those films watchable as they drag on.
well, he's the common thing.
Yeah, but
What
I
keeps
mean,
it going.
his performance, his character, it's a little bit
Right.
of a slice above the average serial killer.
But they're very short. Like you could
Yeah.
take all his appearances and make one movie
Yeah,
out of them.
yeah.
Because he's very briefly
He comes in and out and in and out.
and as expected, she wins the draw against Jigsaw. But she didn't kill him.
Nope. I think she gives DiCaprio a smooch here.
Whoa. You go to jail
which
for
I don't
that.
think his lady friend is too happy about.
And it's almost like it's not very romantic. It's almost like she's taking a swig of beer. She's like,
Exactly.
give me some of this.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
exactly.
blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, get out. Get away from me. I'm done with you.
Pent up.
And this poor girl
Anxiety.
idolizes her.
You're so cool.
And she just waves her off.
cool,
Brewster. Just waves her off. No interest in the Fright Night remake. I'm just putting this in some context.
We'll deal with
Yeah,
that
at the
later,
time.
please.
I
We
saw
will
the
not talk
trailer.
about that right now.
I just wanted to put that out there.
No.
This is
Stop it.
June 4th,
Stop it.
2011.
A letter. What could it say?
The wax seal.
John, wow, that's
John
good.
Herod. Nice handwriting.
Yeah, that's calligraphy there for
I'm
you.
sure that Gene Hackman didn't really write that. I know Gene Hackman's autograph. I can just spot a fake.
Oh, twist.
Wait a minute.
She's
Is this,
gonna get-
Steve, is this another scene I should be looking out for?
Well,
the
she
way,
gets a little dolled up.
Ugh.
Just to turn things back to the technical aspects of the film, the cinematographer was a gentleman named Dante Spinotti, an Italian cinematographer who has basically been Michael Mann's go-to guy.
Wow.
He shot Manhunter. I'm sorry. He also, funny enough, was the DP on Red Dragon, the remake of the same film done by Brett Ratner, and he also shot Heat, which is one of my favorite films. So he could do no wrong in my book. The Insider.
Wow.
L.A. Confidential. There's a connection. The Russell Crowe
yeah.
connection. Serious DP.
Now, I keep thinking every time I see shots like this where she's walking with a very long dress that kind of has a slight train to it, and especially after watching a long time ago Deadwood,
Yeah.
the amount of horse crap that must be gathering
Oh,
at the
it's
edge of that
disgusting.
dress and
stench.
dirt and everything. By the time you reach your destination, whether it's across the street or not, you must reek like manure.
Well, you know, Deadwood. I mean, Western films had prior to Deadwood had started to give a much more realistic portrayal of the Old West as
Ugly.
opposed to what you saw in prior
Antiseptic,
generations.
dry.
Yeah, but Deadwood really brought it home. When you watch Deadwood, you could smell the screen.
Right.
I mean,
There
it
was,
just
like, no place to walk.
People were
It
disgusting.
was just mud.
Not just the
shit.
shit, but I mean, just people not bathing.
Oh.
They looked dirty. You know, they took a bath maybe once a week.
Well, you
They
saw
were
they used
lucky.
to have like a guy would sell food. A guy would sell his. You could go into the bath and take a bath.
Right.
The public bath.
The public bath.
Where it's like, oh yeah, it's a good month. I'll take a bath
Yeah.
now. Yes, June. June is a bath month.
So that means you'll be bathing this month.
No, I already skipped June.
Oh, okay.
June passed. I'm shooting for July now.
Okay.
Now he's the heavy, so he lives in the lap of luxury. He's got everything he
Got
needs.
all he needs. But this scene will give us some insight into Herod. You know,
Now, is he trying to hit on her, or is he
I
trying to
think
find
it-
out who she is?
think
I think
both.
he wouldn't throw her out if
It
it
is Sharon
went that
Stone.
way. Yeah. And I think he's trying to show her, you know, that all this could be yours if, you know.
The Price is Right. That's what I need, a harp. Next time we do a podcast, we need
Well,
a harp
harp?
behind us.
All right, maybe Tony will do that for us.
Only if he wears the costume.
With the wings.
That's a big harp.
Now she has designs on assassinating him right here. And she loses her nerve. There you
Got
go.
another one for you, Carlos.
Not enough.
You were talking about Darkman before.
Mhm.
Is it true that Darkman was born out of Raimi not being able to gain the rights to shoot the Shadow? That he essentially created his own superhero?
That well, he did create Darkman, and that it certainly sounds plausible. I can't say for certain, but the Shadow did come out
Baldwin?
a couple of years later with Alec Baldwin, directed by Russell Mulcahy.
Yeah.
And I could have easily seen Raimi do that film. He was also connected with Universal at the time. Army of Darkness was produced by Universal. And
The only thing I remember about the Shadow. The only thing I remember about the Shadow is the fact that for some reason they gave Alec Baldwin this prosthetic huge nose
Yeah,
to
to-
stick out of the.
to distinguish him from when he was in his alter ego state to when he's the Shadow. The Shadow was a tremendous bomb. I would have loved to have seen what Raimi would have done with that film.
Okay, now he's definitely now looking into her background. She wants to know why she's there. And again, look at her right there. This is like a Maxim photo shoot.
Yeah, it's true.
This isn't a gunfighter. And she's aiming her
She
little
has a perfect complexion,
gun.
you know?
For the Old West.
Yeah, if she lived indoors.
Even your high-priced talent back then didn't look like this.
Again, go back to Deadwood. you know the kind of actresses they used on Deadwood. They're like skankomatic. you know,
The word pig comes to mind.
some of these actresses. I mean, they're great. They're the one that played the Wild Bill Hickok-ish
Right.
type of.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if they even had a term for lesbian back then. But she was like,
She was.
wow.
Yep.
Talk about rough and tumble.
But honestly, you know, you keep saying, Carlos, like, who would have done a better job in this role? And I try to think of the actresses who were who were popular at the time, and I don't know. You know, I mean,
I would say
had
Tony-
you cast a man in this role, I think it just would have been another. I mean, this is what kind of sets it apart. Even if it doesn't fire on all cylinders.
I would say bring it down one notch, just one notch.
the performance.
The look. She is
Oh, her look.
at this stage in her life. She's a model.
Right.
It's the thing we all complain about with most TV shows. It's the beautiful people. And
Well,
the
they don't
kids.
look like, you
No.
watch a show like Bones and they're
Right.
forensic pathologists and they're
Oh,
all
CSI and all
yeah,
these
they're all
things. They're all
gorgeous.
models. It's
the men are.
I mean, Gene Hackman
striking.
looks like he's a character
right
for a western.
But the women, they're too glammed up.
And especially when you have these other actors, the B characters who are ugly and
Like
they have the
dirty
yellow
and
teeth,
nasty.
and she looks like she's been living in a crystal palace, all her life. Now, what's the meaning of this? She remembers his little case, his little match.
Possibly, I don't remember.
Russell Crowe's trying to drink the rain, but is not very successful. And we get another encounter with him and Cheryl Stone, which
Sharon
she's
Stone.
again trying to play it cool, like she doesn't know who's in front
Definitely
of her.
one of those man with no name cigars.
She's got those brown cigarettes,
Yep.
cigar kind of thing deals.
I wonder what Clint Eastwood thought of this film if he saw
Oh,
it.
he probably said they're ripping me off. Can we sue?
No one does a western like Clint Eastwood. If anybody's single-handedly kept the genre alive, it's Clint Eastwood.
Wouldn't surprise me if he ever taps into it again.
I would love it.
The guy is working more now than ever before.
I know. Actually, the last western that I really, really loved, and it didn't do very well, was Open Range with Kevin
was a good
Costner.
movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
I
That was a
really,
pretty good movie.
really enjoyed that film. Robert Duvall, terrific.
The last Western I saw was a Korean film, I think, called The Good, the Bad, and the Weird,
Wow,
which is a
surprised-
takeoff on The Good, the Bad, and
Yeah.
the Ugly, but modern, and it's more modern time, but it's very Westerny, and it's bizarre. It's a weird movie.
Well, as we all know, our friends in Asia have a tendency to get a little crazy.
but it's an homage to Leon and Eastwood.
Rain of Milk.
Not that bad.
All I gotta say, guys, next Geekfest, I'm gonna one up Rain of Milk.
What?
I'm one upping it. Tony is gonna have to go upstairs.
That's a bold statement.
It is. Trust me on it. Sorry, folks.
What if we get water guns with holy water in them? Maybe we can
Trust
just
me.
sprinkle each other while we.
Tony can.
Steve can call up his friend Corey Feldman from the Lost Boys.
Hey, he needs friends. He lost Corey Haim.
Oh man!
Friends on Facebook. Maybe
we
we'll
can
hang
get
out.
him.
Now, do they have the same color eyes?
To join in?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Stone and Russell Crowe have the same color eyes, I think.
Oh,
Is there a commentary for Lost Boys?
I believe so. I do believe
Who is it, do you know?
Schumacher, I think.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think it's a cast commentary.
Now, David Keith, whichever. I can't tell them apart unless I'm looking
Keith
at them.
David is
David.
African American.
There you go. It doesn't matter. David Keith.
David Keith is the guy from Officer and Gentleman.
Let's
Yes.
just call him
And
Keith David.
Firestarter.
Let's call him Keith David Keith. Meeting with Gene Hackman, and now we're, he's getting to why this particular guy's here. He's not just your typical, person for the gunfight.
And Gene Hackman really hates him.
Now, whoever's done the research for this film in terms of props.
Props.
Like, look at this pipe. I've
Yeah.
never seen a pipe like this. It's so intricate. It's got a little cover.
The attention to detail is really something.
The whoever did the props, I'm telling you, I don't know, art direction, I guess.
Yeah.
He's got the handlebar mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a factoid on the props of this film.
We'd love to hear it.
This does not come off the top of my head.
It's okay.
All the props, set pieces for The Quick and the Dead came from Abbas Acre of Antiques in Tempe, Arizona. Apparently, it is now a train depot.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right.
They do look really good. And the kid is bragging as usual, because that seems to be what he does in this film. He just brags about everything.
And his father never misses an opportunity to take him down a peg.
It's funny because he looks like a kid. He's young.
He's a baby.
And he's small. His head is tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of tall. Kind
It's
of.
his bodies.
But he's very scrawny.
Yes.
But
It's been a while since I saw Titanic, but he seems a lot older in that film, and it's only 2 years after this.
I mean, here he could be 16 or 15 years old.
Oh, sure.
He passes off.
He
I'm
passes,
sure he's older.
Yeah,
probably in
I
his
agree.
20s at least.
Probably.
But he
he
passes
passes off very well as he,
Which is a very good thing in Hollywood, to pass off, because this way you get a more talented actor who looks young. Like the Michael J. Fox syndrome type of deal.
Right.
So, Raimi's television work, his producing credits, and have you been into any of that material?
There's
Xena and
a lot of crap as far as I'm concerned. I never had any interest in Xena. I don't know about you, Carlos.
No.
He also, because I believe of the financial benefits they shot a lot of stuff in New Zealand, I believe.
Yeah.
And he did
before Peter Jackson did.
right, and he did a very short-lived series with Bruce Campbell called Jack of All Trades, which I did not watch.
Did he do Briscoe County, or is that
Briscoe was not? I believe
Wasn't Raimi?
I don't believe.
No.
How about Hercules?
Hercules, yes,
Yeah.
that's him and Robert Tappert, I believe. Raimi also, and I have this at home, and I've yet to watch it. I just recently got it. He produced a Darkman pilot. Darkman was not only was there a pilot that never aired, they did 2 straight-to-video sequels with I want to say
you're
Jeff
right.
Fahey as Darkman, and I could be wrong though, but Larry Drake, who played the villain in Darkman, was in both films, even though he was killed.
Quick thing, Keith David Keith just got shot,
Keith David Keith.
or David Keith
First
David.
name last.
Doesn't
last
matter.
name first.
Doesn't matter. The blood looks very almost purple. I think they made it on purpose to look even more.
It looks very Hammer horror. The blood.
Because when we put this in black and white, it has to show.
Yeah.
You mentioned Larry Drake, possibly most well known for his work on L.A. Law.
L.A. Law. Yep.
Or Dr. Giggles.
Or Dr. Giggles.
Yes.
Academy Award nominee, Dr. Giggles. What the hell is that all about? The gun is...
That was a good shot.
Is attached to the
Yeah.
belt? And it has a loop? So what? He doesn't have to pull it? He just turns
Just turns it.
Yeah, he just turns it.
But is that something that people cheat? Or is that normal? Is that something...
I don't know.
So here we're learning that the townspeople are being taxed by Herod, in addition to his protection for their splendid way of life.
Yes.
They have to cough up a percentage of their earnings.
He's like a mobster.
Yeah. This is a great speech. And the fact that
That is
love it.
Raimi.
And now this
Yikes.
is a PG-13 movie. I would have thought that would have put it right over the
Maybe
top.
it's because it only lasted for half a second.
And let's be honest, it doesn't look all that realistic.
No, it
No.
doesn't.
Just it's
But
just
it's
a
for pure
shock
shock
value.
value.
and
Absolutely.
the fact that you could see him
Right
through it.
Excellent.
It's like, hi, I'm over here.
I think another line out of that monologue was something in reference to King Kong. Oh, that's a different movie.
Yeah, that was
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
I am King Kong.
Ain't got shit on me.
I love the dusters, the long Western coats with the not very practical but very good looking.
I
coats.
love Clint Eastwood's. Now you're making it think the kid was killed, but it's the dirty guy.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I love Clint Eastwood's poncho from the Man
Yeah.
with No Name.
That shows up in different places.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a certain scene in this film to have somebody wear the metal thing underneath.
Well, we'll get to that
the
at the
ping,
end.
ping.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in the end. It's there's something similar.
What? He's not the mayor. Is there a mayor?
Getting another kiss. Now maybe the wedding scene would have followed quickly after this.
Right.
There's the focus shots. Yeah, I read something about a rainstorm and you see it's completely blue skies in the next shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they always said that the corner is the one that really makes the money in these towns.
Yeah.
Because now she's having a little...
She's
having a little moment.
She's having a little moment that's going to get a lot worse.
S'mores by the fire.
Now, at the moment, this is a little disturbing. Kevin Conway's character is just
Having his way
raped
with
Pat Hingle's daughter, and he's not doing anything about it. And Sharon Stone's character is completely enraged.
It's the way of the West.
I have to say, I really like the scene that follows this.
Nah. What could happen next? Give the bartender a couple dollars. Thanks, buddy.
The look on Pat Hingle's face is just. She's just on her last nerve.
Oh, he almost reached for his gun. I didn't notice.
He just
that.
raped his daughter.
But I thought he just
He's
was
going to put some peanuts out instead.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was going to do. But I guess he almost did something.
Not my reaction.
No.
No.
There you go. Now you're finally seeing some
There you
rage. Some
Oh,
nice.
I love
Look at
that
that
hat.
guy.
Look at that guy.
Look at those teeth.
That's a hat. See, look
Yeah.
at this.
This
Look at the
is
sky.
great. Yeah, it's a rain machine. What do you
Blue
want?
skies. Oh, that could hurt.
Where he got him.
She's looking that. See, now she's looking a little dirty, a little rugged.
Mm-hmm.
It's like little do you know that now she needs another 3 hours to clean herself and to get all dolled up again. Even the guns, couldn't they age the guns a little bit, make them a little more worn and.
I mean,
'Cause
I
these
can't,
are,
I
like,
can't,
right
I
out of
can't
the
say this
factory.
with any authority, but I think that some of these gunfighters were proud of their weapons and like to.
It's almost like it's a shogun. It's
well, you know,
it's. I only bring these out when there's some.
Well, apparently the weapons specialist for the film took the guns home and put them in his chlorine pool to age them
oh,
Really?
at least a little bit.
and that's the end.
Very
of him.
scientific.
All right, somebody's just aiming a hose at that window.
Pretty
Come
much.
on. It doesn't rain sideways every time. Civil War guy?
Civil War guy.
Missed that.
The guy. QuickandTheDead.net. The guy who had the behind the scenes pictures. That was him.
That was him.
One of the extras on the film has a website called QuickandTheDead.net. And he posted some behind the scenes pictures and some journals. He was there, I think, pretty much for the entire
Yeah, he was
production.
there for the entire shoot, and he gives a much more thorough documentation of the film than IMDb or Wiki or.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no. Again, I mean, I'm sure Raimi wouldn't have a problem with doing a commentary over this film, but it was released on Blu-ray without anything.
It was just put out there to
Anything.
make a little money. No, nothing special. Now, have they re-released stuff that's his old to special editions?
I don't
that
believe
he would participate in.
I don't think they've done anything with The Gift or Simple Plan.
Just with the old Evil Deads.
Just the Evil Deads. Not even.
And didn't they
Darkman.
go?
He's no
Didn't they go
Darkman.
completely nuts on Evil Dead? Like 8 versions of
Yeah,
one
Evil
or the
Dead and
other?
Evil Dead
Yeah.
2 and Army of Dark. All 3 of them. There are multiple special. I lost count. Different cuts.
I like the fact that the handle of his gun is missing a piece.
Yeah, it's a real piece of crap.
He's lucky the thing doesn't explode on his hand.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking
They're
at her.
basically saying she's the last hope.
You were our only hope.
Because they really don't know Court. But they know that she's got her eyes on Herod.
We're actually ramping up to the final confrontation.
Well, we're running out of contestants.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, the kid, the lady, and
Court and Herod.
Right, they were almost out of people.
Have we heard anything about The Great and Powerful that Raimi is supposed to be working on? The prequel to Wizard of Oz?
I believe that is shortly going into production. I know Robert Downey had been attached, but he was too busy with Sherlock Holmes and Iron Man and the Avengers to fit it in. And I believe there was a big casting announcement recently, and it just is escaping me.
She also seems to have a lot of costume changes for somebody with no luggage.
It's the little things that bother you.
See, look at that gun. That's a gun now.
Yeah.
That's a piece of crap
It's
gun.
a piece of crap.
That's
Well,
I'm
that's what
just-
Leo said. He said, it's the cheapest thing I got.
But
$1.
again, I could be completely
25 cents.
I could be completely wrong, but I just get the sense that if you were a gunslinger, I mean, if this was what you did for a living, that if anything you kept anything clean and sparkly and shiny, it was your gun.
Well, I imagine,
More so than bathing.
I would imagine the Gene Hackman character. Yes, he's the big shot. He
Yeah.
has the show guns, but like the Indian guy, he wouldn't have a gun, a nice shiny gun. Maybe the Lance.
This suite of music is straight out of Predator. Listen to it.
Huh?
It's Predator.
You might be right.
Well, it's Alan Silvestri. I mean, same composer.
Drums and oh yeah, this is the one where she changes her mind and
Yep.
she's like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yep.
I don't understand
So
why.
now I think that the bordello scene would follow this pretty close. Follow this scene pretty closely. I'll have to.
he's dead. They died.
By the way, some of those quick cut sequences where he's using the zoom lens are actually push pulls, where you zoom in and you dolly
And
out.
you dolly
Where
out.
You dolly in and you zoom out. It gives you that sense of they're not really moving. We're doing all of the movement, but
You know what shot
the
when I
actor
think of
is standing still.
when I think of that Poltergeist, when Jo Beth Williams is running to the
Yes.
down the corridor.
Or Jaws, when Chief Brody's sitting on the beach.
Yeah, that one.
One of the best
Yes, absolutely.
This is the Michael Myers Indian, right? The one that just would not die.
Yes. Well, he said he was shot like 72 times. He was showing off the
True.
scars.
He did put that disclaimer out
Yeah,
there.
so yeah.
But this is a cool scene. The fact that he needs another bullet and the
Yep.
blind kid is looking
The
for a bullet
blind
for him.
kid.
right.
And and then there's that whoosh shot.
Slow-mo bullet. And blick.
Does it go? Oh no, I thought it went right in the gun. No.
And he gets it in the chamber, and everybody shoots at the same time. And down he goes.
He
Because
has not
remember,
lost the touch.
he was only allowed one bullet. Whoa! Here comes Michael Myers again. Maybe not.
Herod is loving this.
Yeah, him and his brother Daryl and his other brother Daryl.
Applause.
You know, we talked before about how the film did. I believe that the budget was $36 million, and the film only grossed 18
Wow.
domestic.
You know, when you think about it, Raimi is very lucky. You know, in this period, you know, he's showing a maturation of his skills as a director, pulling back on some of the showier aspects of his style, and his films are not they're not box office hits, but people are taking notice of him. I mean, I'm not sure what the last film he directed before Spider-Man. It might have been The Gift. But you know,
Who do you convince to give you
well,
Spider-Man?
that's the thing. He was handed this franchise, this what they were hoping was going to be a huge.
Based on what? Darkman
Well,
and
his
and
pitch,
Evil Dead?
His pitch was very impassioned when you know he really knew the comic.
But genre-wise, it's more like Darkman, Evil Dead.
Yeah,
not
well, I
more,
mean-
not Super Planet.
I mean, I can't tell you exactly why he got the job, but I have to say, I was cautiously optimistic when he got the job, and I think he really he knocked it out of the
Yeah.
park. At least the first two films.
We're learning more about her background slowly. Now she's meeting with the old doctor who's telling her about how he used to like her father and yada yada yada. Again, one of these cloudless rainstorms, desert rainstorms.
Desert rainstorms. Well, you know,
It could happen.
there's something called the willing suspension of disbelief, Carlos.
Please.
Okay, all right.
He has the word cynic tattooed on his rear end.
He does. He really does.
I don't want to know how you know that.
Well, we've all been there.
Been there, done that. Now, what's with all these bizarre great? Look at that. It's like a mattress over there. What is that? What the hell is that?
A mattress? What are you looking at?
To the left.
It's like a gate.
Oh,
I don't have a.
Well, you know, it's a creative prop master. What can you say? You know, if
like
it was
somebody's fence.
it looks a little, you know, than your typical Boot Hill. It looks just a little, you know, more cinematic. I don't know.
But the question is that authentic? I mean,
who cares?
did people just grab
Let me
like
say, who cares?
you know,
Gary Sinise.
Lieutenant Dan?
CSI New York.
Probably the longest hair he's ever had since Lieutenant Dan.
That's for sure.
Very small role.
Yeah.
Had Forrest Gump come out when he?
Well, I'm trying to. I believe Forrest Gump came out in '94.
because this is like a cameo. This is
And
not even a.
He may have, he may have shot this before Forrest Gump hit.
Probably because he has like maybe 2 lines.
Yeah. It's a thankless little cameo.
Unless it's a favorite for Raimi or something. So he was the marshal
Yes.
in that town way, way long
That's
ago.
a nice shot.
Which is what? A matte shot or some digital composing?
I don't know if it's a matte shot.
Do we even do mattes anymore? I mean, now it's just digital.
It is just digital. There's something to be said for a good matte shot.
well, what about Lord of the Rings? I mean, they had some
Yeah.
miniatures. And
They
did
combine. They
everything.
like to
Yeah.
combine.
They did
things.
everything. There was not an not to go too far afield, but there was not an over-reliance on CGI in that series, whereas in Star Wars, I think they went.
Right, but I mean, a film like this, I would imagine they go for whatever's cheapest. They don't go for let's do a
Well,
miniature and then
if it
combine it
can-
with a matte.
I
combine
think
it with
if it accentuates what's there, I think that's the best use of CGI. Instead of there's still something very false about certain CGI to me. But as an enhancement, I think better than.
He's getting closer to the final duel because they're definitely running out of people.
Well, I think we just missed the wedding scene because that girl was wearing a
Right.
dress.
Oh,
that
it would have
was
been
very, matrimonial.
So there's your shout out, Bruce. We wish you were there.
Groovy.
What's everyone's favorite Bruce Campbell Spider-Man cameo? Mine is the first one, the wrestling announcer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
would
good
say
one.
so.
Yeah.
The second one, he was the guy at the door of the
He was
theater.
the snooty usher, and in the third
The
one, he was
restaurant?
the maitre d'.
Yeah.
Actually, the third one, he's got the most screen time, I believe, but I don't like that. It's kind of not my favorite cameo.
It just happens that the last two, or the second to last two, lady and the preacher.
Well, yeah. Can I just also point out, he's not even in the film, but all three of us have met Bruce Campbell.
That's
We've all
true.
met him.
Very true.
We're all acolytes of his.
And we all have his autograph.
But you know what? I don't watch Burn Notice.
By the
I
way,
really should.
before we get on Bruce Campbell, that slap was improvised. Apparently, he wasn't supposed to slap her.
But you know what? When Gene Hackman slaps you, you just take it. I would consider it an honor to be slapped by
It's
Gene
part
Hackman.
of the learning experience.
There's a combination of, wait, I'm Sharon Stone, I'm a co-producer. but it is Gene
He's
Hackman.
Gene
You can
Hackman.
see all of those emotions.
right in that one.
That split second.
Hell, you get to put it on your resume. Slapped by Gene Hackman.
There you go.
It'd be an honor.
Better than their last 3 films.
Oh, so you were saying we were talking about Bruce Campbell?
Yes, we all met Bruce Campbell. I said I don't watch Burn Notice.
I lost track of Burn Notice's last season. I couldn't keep up with it.
You know what it is? I have a problem with what's the guy's name? Jeffrey Donovan. Is that his
Yeah.
name? I don't particularly care for him.
But I think I should be watching it. You know,
because
for
Bruce
him.
is in it.
Yeah.
He's in it quite a bit.
He's a main character.
And it has some kind of spin-off too, right?
There
Didn't
was
they
a
have
TV
little bit.
spin-off.
Yeah, they did a
it
TV
was like a
movie.
prequel to his character. You know, his
just,
role in that.
Now, keep an eye. Maybe
many
look at his
years,
hand.
too.
See if he's wearing a wedding ring. Because
Oh, that
in
would be
theory,
interesting.
he should be. I mean, he's dressed a little nice. And the kid is supposed to draw with his father.
Now, the bordello scene, which I think we've probably passed.
We have to pass it because it's...
Yeah. What
it's his
happens
turn.
in the bordello scene is Russell Crowe court is being manhandled by Herod's men in the bordello. Sharon Stone seeks him out, kind of rescues him from getting smacked around, and they have a love scene. But what's important about that scene is while they're entangled, she says to him, we have each other's backs, right? I have your back, you have my back. You're not gonna,
So it's expected that these
the
two are up to
partnership.
something.
Yes, there is an explicit partnership between them, and that's why I think the scene is kind of important.
But they cut it because of the time or because they didn't want to give the...
I don't know.
Tip the audience that
Well,
they're about to do something together.
Honestly, I can't tell you. I mean, it's a pretty sexual scene, and even though there's actually nudity in it, and there's
There he goes again. Boasting about what he knows, which it's about to bite him in the ass. And
Now,
even look at that suit. It looks
I
like
was
he's
gonna say,
swimming in it.
You know, is a gun belt supposed to be that low?
maybe it's on purpose to make him look younger and
I don't know.
and just weaker. Like he's a kid in a man's suit.
Right.
Even the guns look gigantic. Oh,
There
there's
we
that
go,
shot.
Push pulls.
There's another
Awesome.
one.
That is great.
With a canted angle as well.
Ooh, reverse. There you go
He's
again.
got a lot of camera movement going on
Jeez.
there.
And he did wing him.
Right, but they make you think it's that he wins, but boom. And he got it in the belly. And now he turns into a
A blubbering
blah,
child.
blah, blah, blah,
He
blah,
turns
blah.
into the Gilbert Grape
Yeah,
character.
he does.
He does, right?
Look at the bottom of his boots. They're clean. Come on, guys. Little dirt wouldn't hurt anyone.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Just a little weathering. You get a brush, a little paint, and you make it look like he's actually
Will you
worn
knock off a
those boots.
star because of that
2.
on your review?
2 stars for the boots. Come on. The bottom of the boots cannot be white. Like
But
he's
there's
been
a lot
dancing.
There's a lot of cow shit.
That's what I'm saying. Put some cow shit on it. Oh, boy. What is this? Saving Private Ryan? Come on.
How would you react? I think I'd be crying. I don't think I would go out like a man
But think
if
about
I was
this.
gut shot.
Why would he enter a contest where he's going to have to shoot his own father?
Because I don't know that he thought he was going to kill his father. He wants his respect.
But after what he's seen his father do to other people,
Look,
and the fact that they hate each other,
there are a lot of screwed up parent-child relationship. There's dysfunctional.
and this is not the movie to talk about it.
I'm just.
See, look at this guy. Oh, he might have been not
what
mine.
a bastard.
Whatever. Oh, she's getting pissed.
She does a good glare.
Now the question is the plan already in motion?
Yes.
Well, he's shot in the neck. You got him a little bit. So the whore has no husband now. Even though technically we don't know that that's her
She'll
husband.
land on her feet.
Doesn't that house kind of look
She'll
like...
land on her back. That's what she's going to land on. Good night. Thank you.
Try the veal.
Jesus, look at that hat. It's like a shield.
I like the production
a
design.
satellite
I like
dish.
Herod's house.
Kind of looks like Hal's Moving Castle, you know? It just looks a little bit more bulbous than everything else. but
Yeah.
We're going to see why in a
Hard to
in a
believe the
little bit.
clock even works in a town like that. Like somebody would bother to keep it working.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's supposed to be him or her.
I don't know. Maybe him.
I don't think those were her hands.
That's one thing about this character. They don't really do much with this character. The blind kid really doesn't.
No, but he definitely
I mean-
serves a purpose.
It's like, okay, well,
Yep.
we're back to the dynamite barrels. Again, costume number 7 with no luggage. Somebody's feeding her costumes.
She has one of those vacuum bags.
I mean, maybe she's wearing the same hat at least. And we're down to 2. There's nobody else that you could kill in this movie that's worth killing.
Well, Herod.
Okay, now look at this. Come on.
That's not a good look for her right
She's-
there.
I mean, it's like kind of like, okay, now I'm in a sexy cowboy outfit.
It's
Like,
not
okay.
very sexy though.
You just went to the general store, got a sack of grain and a sexy outfit. The chaps.
Chaps.
You know what would have made this a little sexier?
Assless chaps.
There you go.
I knew that was coming.
Steve's trying to rise above.
You got to village people it up a little bit, you know?
By the way,
Now, here we go. We get to see both of them. That's why you have widescreen.
that's right. By the way, if you noticed, because it's a period piece, there really is no opportunity for Sam Raimi to integrate his yellow Delta 88.
Yes. Very true.
However, word on the street is, and I think I read Bruce Campbell had confirmed this,
Dressed it like a horse?
they took one apart and they used the chassis of the car and they built
That
one of
is
those
wild.
wagons. It might have been the wagon in the beginning of the film.
Okay.
Oh,
when you
wow.
first see Sharon
That's
Stone,
cool.
but it is in
It's
there.
insane.
And that shows you his commitment.
Yes.
to his insanity.
Yes.
Hey, if it's a good luck charm, you got to work it in.
Absolutely.
Even though this film didn't do so well, but you know, people are superstitious.
So he doesn't want to draw. He's got his hands behind his back.
This is a performance, though. There's a plan in motion.
She's not wearing a coat,
Kim
obviously,
Ross
so
on you.
everybody can look at her butt.
This is a great shot coming up.
And who actually got shot?
Wait for it.
So she's down. He's still up. And she appears to be bleeding.
Wait for it.
And the medic declares her almost dead. They're kind of dead. Oh, he wants them to leave, to not steal anything on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Come get some.
So now it's just the preacher and Gene Hackman.
And Herod.
Oh, whacked on the head. Oh. They gotta wait one more day.
Dawn.
He's got one of those little
There you
gambler.
go.
Yeah,
Handgun.
that's
Whip
great.
that camera around. It's
Ooh.
great.
Oh, Herod's not going to like you
Oh.
for that.
That's right.
You're going to pay the price. Nice teeth. Those teeth are a little bit Ridiculous.
You figure if your teeth are that bad, he just wouldn't have them.
Just wouldn't have them.
They would have fell off when he was like in his mid-20s instead of his 50s. What's he filing? The bullets?
I don't know.
He's doing a needlepoint.
What the hell is he doing?
He's got a shawl on.
It's a part of a gun, I guess.
Yeah. You know, I never. You know, you don't really realize the intricacies of the mechanism of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing the classic underwear for cowboy, which is
Yes.
the
Long
flapper,
johns.
long john, you know,
johns with the flap, in
flapper
the-
rear
in the
flap.
back for easy exit or entrance in that.
You know what? Deadwood was the first film where you actually saw like the bucket in the corner. Yeah, you know, looking at having seen this film just a few days ago, with that scene in it, it makes a world of difference. I now I could see why it was cut, because you're really at a loss right now to, you know, I mean, it was explicit that they had hatched a plan.
Mm-hmm.
You still don't know at this point, where are they?
Yeah, right.
I mean, you kind
I
of.
mean, no one's gonna say to themselves Sharon Stone is really dead, but they just, you know.
That's not fair, boss. I didn't mean to break his hands. Oh, crap. I better run. Like I got a poop in my pants.
Shoot with my left hand.
I can stand with one leg. I can do it blindfolded. He's loving this. He's
Oh
just
yeah, this
enjoying
this is what he's waited for. This is what he's dying for.
boink, 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 and he's down. I hope there was somebody
I
who
love
catch
that
that
effect.
gun.
When he threw it.
That's like a rock move. You throw your guitar. Here you go. Here's my
Yeah.
guitar.
You also hear it before when he lit that that cigarette. You hear him.
Yes.
He flicks the match away, and you hear it go.
I love the fact that he took the time to kill the other guy.
Yeah. He's very efficient.
It's like
Time management.
Yes.
tying up
He
loose
killed
ends.
more people in an hour.
I like the long coats of his henchmen.
You hear this?
Nice.
That's the gladiator line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If he beats me, kill him. Kill him. You'll have to do that again pretty soon, buddy. And the townspeople look as hopeless as ever. It's a weird angle to have the house right behind them. It's a little distracting. You figure you want to focus just on the two people, but the house
Yeah,
is
but
there.
but it's going to become very important in a
Well,
second. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
You'll know the shot I was talking about before. I just love it. It catches you off guard.
And here they go.
this is great.
Waiting for the clock to ring.
Oh, he's shaking. He's so nervous.
Yeah.
That one.
That's great.
And
Nah,
two
I
of them go
love it.
flying out
I
as,
love it.
as the clock tower
There's
explodes.
a couple other ones coming up too, where you see them in
And
the foreground.
next,
That one.
This one.
his house
Oh, that
explodes.
is
You know,
amazing.
I think that might have been a process shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't think Hackman would get that close
No,
to that
it
explosion.
was well done, though.
It was a good one.
And next, we got one more, I think. The bar
Yeah.
explodes. Look at that lady.
Yeah.
That's probably Raimi hiding in a dress. And
That's a lot of pyro.
there's like 3 buildings just exploded. I guess that's what all that TNT went for. But they're not done. Everybody's like, what happened? It's like money flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm. No, he knows he's finished now. He'd still love to kill Russell Crowe.
But wait, who could that be walking through the flames? Is it the T-1000? No. It's Sharon Stone.
Speaking of Robert Patrick, have you seen him lately?
Oh.
Whoa.
Did you see? I don't know if you guys watched Big Love. He was one of the polygamist
I haven't.
husbands. Oh my God!
And, oh, yeah, everybody thinks she was dead, but she's back. And there's the red ink from the little blind kid.
We prefer the term plural marriage.
That's a scary bunch.
And she doesn't have a hat. She's angry.
She's still looking hot, though. The hair is down.
And the bad guys are drawing, but
This is great.
Russell Crowe is going to start
taking
shooting them all.
out.
Yeah,
That's great.
That's a Campbell shot.
There you go. Awesome.
So all the thugs are down. He's got nobody to shoot.
Here's another Raimi.
She throws the shield at
This is great. Look at
There
that.
you go.
That
That's
is
a
awesome.
Great shot.
both of them in focus. The shield and
And the fact
Hackman
that the
from
camera
the floor
technically would
down.
have to be in the ground.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be
So
buried.
they raise everybody up to get that shot. It's great.
And the final flashback, which is it's an interesting little twist because you
Well,
figure
that's-
that he was just kill him.
It makes it that much more horrible.
Oh, it's so disturbing.
Because he thinks he's going to kill him, but instead
Yeah.
Hackman wants the little girl to try to set him loose.
And you know what? I'm sure he still would have killed him.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
So she's afraid. She's never done it. The doctor is witnessing all this, so that's how we
Now-
get back to the doctor.
I may be speculating a little too much here, but if in a similar, if it had been a little boy, and this happened, I think Hackman would sooner have killed him because he's gonna swear revenge.
It's
and,
the Conan theory.
right? Exactly.
He's going to come back and chop your head off.
So
Which
because
is why
it's
it has to be a woman.
a woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
point.
No.
What?
It still doesn't make sense.
Just give me that.
Don't do the Lucas apologist thing.
I'm not a
okay?
Lucas
Don't give me don't retcon this film.
I'm not retconning anything. I thought I made a valid point.
But why couldn't she be less good looking? Oh, you miss, honey. You just nailed Daddy on the head.
That's close enough.
And there
it
you go.
says.
That's the whole point of this, is that
Yes.
she's nuts somewhat because she killed her own father.
Choopy.
And Hackman is just happy and
He's just
running
a-
around.
He's just as evil as they come. Now, Steve, I don't know if you... I'm curious. Did the bullet bounce off the marshal's badge when she was shot? When she flings it out after she's proven that she's not dead? I wasn't sure how she was protected from Russell Crowe's gunshot.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure.
The only thing I could think of was it was the badge.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would stop a bullet.
So the assumption is that he was aiming for the badge.
Right. Well, that's my theory.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it has an impression in it?
That I didn't see. I don't think it did. But I'm just trying to figure out how she survived the shot.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
cool.
a great shot.
Sunlight going through
Right
his
through
bullet
him.
hole. I think it would be going the other direction though. Where's the sun? I think the sun is over his right shoulder.
There you
It should
go.
be-
Ah,
Oh.
awesome. Nice fall by Gene Hackman.
Well, we are,
stuntman.
Carlos stepped away for a moment, so I had to be the continuity police. Ooh.
I'm sure that's not Gene Hackman either. You're the new. You're the new marshal.
Oh, there you go. There's a final line for you.
Yes.
I guess he's got to take the job.
She's got a little scarring.
What's
there.
that about?
Yeah, what's that about? Maybe there was some roughness during their intimacy.
Cut scene.
Another deleted scene, perhaps. well, in this
Is that a wheelchair? Oh no.
Maybe.
in this day and age of connectivity, maybe we can get the word into Sam Raimi, ask him some of these questions.
And Faded to
That
Black.
would be great.
And that's
I just
the
wish
end.
I wish Raimi would do a commentary for this film. We had to take up the mantle. Mm-hmm. Look at this cast list.
Serious.
The fonts, by the way, very westerny looking
yeah.
fonts.
Scott Spiegel, another Raimi
Gold
compadre.
teeth man.
Yeah, gold teeth man. Wedding Shemp, Bruce Campbell.
How could he give
How
him
about
credit
Ted
if he-
Raimi? Ted Raimi wasn't in this one.
Right.
He's
Now,
usually in all of
Mick
them.
Garris. He's a horror director.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, would they give Campbell credit if they cut him out?
They do that quite frequently.
Really?
Sure.
They gave Michael Biehn credit for being in T2 when he was cut out, I think.
Well, he was in the trailer.
Right. And there's always the possibility you're going to be brought back in the director's cut.
I guess.
You know, this film and A Simple Plan and The Gift and all, they came out, almost even a straight-to-video movie nowadays is getting a commentary and some sort of extras. So right now, I bought this on Laserdisc. I own The Quicker Than Dead on Laserdisc.
Did you get rid of it, or you still
I
have
did
it?
get rid of it.
See,
bought
I
the
was
DVD.
I have it. I got it out.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch the film before today, but I was going to bring it for inspiration.
We would just pass it around like the orb and sleepers. Ooh, Laser. I remember Laser.
We were on the ground floor of that phenomenon.
That's right. It's not disposable like a DVD.
Like DVDs. It's not
And-
sold in Walmart like DVDs.
That's right.
And we were there to drive it right to the ground.
We were. We it was a
It was a niche market.
it was a heady time. It was a niche market. We could be pretentious and all. Look, this is letterboxed and this has a commentary.
Pan and scan, Pshaw.
So
Oh, I see, matte shots. Illusion Arts Inc. So they that,
Could be.
that probably was a matte.
so how do we feel about this film? Do we like it? Is it flawed? Is it
I think
one
it's
of his
kind
better
what,
films?
I think it's kind of what Steve said. It's a transitional film. It brings you from the crazy to the straight, but then he kind of goes a little crazy again with Spider-Man. He kind of blends the two. This is
he
his
finds the balance?
right.
Steve?
I would put it up there in my Sam Raimi pantheon, not as high as the Evil Dead trilogy, but it's a fun Western.
Yeah.
They do all the things in the Westerns that you wish you would see in a traditional Western. So
Absolutely, I
I
agree.
have an appreciation for that. These crazy camera tricks and all the gunplay. It, there you go.
See, I wouldn't put it as I wouldn't call it a classic Western.
No.
It's a fun.
No, I didn't say
Western.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like an alternative Western, kind of like a.
It's a lot of fun.
It's somebody's version of a Western. It's like if all of a sudden Tarantino did a Western. It's like it's Tarantino's Western. Well,
Yeah.
This is
Raimi's
Western.
right.
And I mean, I don't think he's ever touched this genre.
No, he hasn't.
Again, he's kind of been busy with
Well,
the
he was busy
Spider-Mans.
for 10 years. He was wrapped up in Spider-Man, but
Wow.
he went back to his roots with Drag Me to Hell, which is just pure, unadulterated Raimi throwback.
Back to square one, but with a good budget.
With a nice budget, and I loved it.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of the credits. The TriStart logo is fading out. And thank you once again, everybody, for joining us for the geek commentary of The Quick and the Dead. I'd like to thank Steve Avona and Steve Laux for participating. And we will see you again next time where we do another commentary or another regular show here on Geekfest Rants.
Hasta la vista.